Hi everyone, it's Kim Adams here for Monday's Money Talk. And today, it was Mother's Day yesterday, and I had so many thoughts that kept popping up over the day about my mom and so many lessons I learned from her. So I thought it would be a good topic for today because my mom taught me so many things about creating wealth. Whether it was money or the wealth that is not related to money. And so I thought I would share some of those with me or share some of those with you. And if you have, things that your mom shared with you that you really remember that resonate with you, type them in the comments because we've all learned so much from our parents. And since it was Mom's Day, I thought, let's talk about what our moms taught us. So some basic things about my mom. She was one of the most balanced persons I've ever met. I mean, she took one day at a time. So she was born in 25. She actually passed in 2008 when she was 83. But my mom was, like I said, she kind of took one day at a time. She was a very religious person. So I was raised Catholic, Roman Catholic. She was pretty devout Catholic. But I would also say she was very spiritual because she didn't judge other people. And one of the biggest takeaways I had from my mother that she taught me that I find so rare in other people is that she refused to badmouth people. She just didn't get into it. And when I was reading the Four Agreements, the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and one of the agreements is being impeccable with your word. My mom came to mind because she would not get into that. And it's really hard to do that, right? It's really hard not to get into these conversations where you start criticizing people. So that's one big thing I had from my mom. She always took care of herself too. If she needed a nap, she was on the couch, resting her eyes. So that was another lesson I learned from her was to really take care of myself. And for a lot of women, we have a lot of cultural pressure and there's a lot of expectation that we take care of everybody else except ourselves. We put ourselves last. And that's not a great paradigm to follow. When you're in the plane, they still tell you to put the oxygen mask on you first before taking care of young children, right? So you have to take care of yourself. And my mom was a great role model for that. On the money side of things, I grew up watching my mom handle our family's finances. So I didn't have that paradigm of money, of women don't handle money. My mother handled the money in the house. And my dad was an auto mechanic. So never made a lot of money. But when I look back on what my parents were able to create, it's really disproportionate, to what my dad earned as an auto mechanic. And my mom did go back to work later. She was a bookkeeper and always enjoyed working. So it was a hard adjustment for my mom in the late 50s when I was born, to have to quit work. It was kind of, I think back then she had to quit when she was pregnant, which sounds so archaic, doesn't it? To have to quit when you're pregnant. And so she really liked working. And so it was a natural thing for her to take on the family finances. So I watched her doing that. And of course she was a Depression era baby, born in 25. So she definitely had a lot of frugal habits, saving aluminum foil, some of those things that a lot of us remember growing up with parents of that generation. But I think some of the biggest wealth producing things my mom really instilled in me were the types of things that money doesn't buy. And both of my parents actually had their values in the right place, right? They valued family and friends. My mom had a gazillion friends that she talked to, if not in person, on the phone. She had more friends from high school than I've had in my whole life, honestly. So they really valued the basics. Their priorities were us, me, and my two younger sisters. So when I think back on the environment I grew up in, it was really based on a lot of wholesome things, the type of things that money can't buy. So I really, really value that. And the older I get, This is common. The older we get, the more we appreciate our parents, and the more we realize how cool they were and how great they were at instilling values in us. So some of the other things that my mom was really great at was balancing her life, right? She went to work later when my younger sister was a little older. And we used to call her the queen of cliches because she had so many cliches she would say all the time to us. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I'm not so sure I agree with that one. But she really stuck to some of these, and we used to laugh all the time at her. Everybody loved my mom, so she really was present, and she had a mindfulness about her that, we talk a lot about mindfulness now, but my mother was always present with whomever she was talking to. And when she passed away, all of my cousins, all of these people came up to us and would tell us how your mom was so awesome. We really loved talking to her. You kind of see your parents in a different perspective when you talk to other people and you see them through their eyes. So she was always awesome about listening to people, being present with them. And she honestly was a feng shui expert, not knowing what feng shui was, because she was always into being neat and keeping the house clean. So when I look back on some of those principles that we used to criticize her for, she really had her stuff together. She really did. And so I picked up a lot of great things from her. And one of the most awesome things about my mom that I try to emulate with my own children is she never made us feel guilty, about not coming to see her. Sometimes you hear so much of that about, oh, my mom makes me feel so guilty, or there's all this pressure about, coming to see me, being around me. My mother never did that. So she knew we were busy. She knew we had careers, we had kids. So she never made it about her, which I really, really appreciate. So I'm trying to do that with my own kids, not make them feel guilty for not coming home or not guilty for anything, yet they have their own lives to live. So I tell people all the time that, and my kids especially, that they pick, you pick your parents. I believe that. I believe we picked our parents because they're the people that we chose to go through life and learn certain things. And so I'm so grateful that I picked my parents because they were really awesome. My dad died a lot sooner than my mom. He died in 96. My mom died in 2008. And so I've just been appreciating all the things I learned from her. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I didn't say yet. She never made us feel guilty. Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway that I really picked up from my mom was this idea of, life's short and, just take it in stride, like take one day at a time. She was super present in whatever she was doing, and she balanced herself. She took care of herself. And I think that's kind of interesting because so many women, struggle with that, taking care of themselves. If she, we didn't grow up, we grew up very middle class. Like I said, my dad was an auto mechanic, so we never had a lot of money, but we always had what we needed. And they always had money for what we needed. So it was kind of ironic that when I look back, we never felt deprived. We always had great food, whatever we needed, tennis lessons. They always seemed to provide it. And that's kind of amazing to me when I do look back and I know what my dad made. Probably never made more than $20,000 in his life. So again, their ability to manifest what was really important was so amazing. And it really is a testament to the fact that you really can manifest and create inordinate wealth in your life, even if you aren't quote unquote rich. But we were rich in so many things. And so I'm so grateful for that. So I'm sure you have lots of memories about your mom, and maybe share them. Tell us what you learned from your mom about creating wealth, not just in the money sense, but in a total wealth sense, because it's really not money we crave so much. It's the feelings and it's what money buys that we really want. So hopefully hopefully you have enjoyed what I've said to you about my mom. She was awesome. I'm sure your mom was awesome too. So share what you learned from your mom. We learned so much. And, I've been in this, I've been in this well, I went to a retreat early in April, but I've been following this woman, and we're talking a lot about the feminine divine and just how women have been pretty much oppressed for like the past 5,000 years, and we're coming into our own now. And so when I look back, I really have this sense of gratitude for not just my mom, but all of my, my grandmothers, my great grandmothers, all of the women in my heritage that have gone before me, that have paved the way for us, for me to be here now in this time when it is time, we are owning our power now as women. And it's a great time for me personally because I'm about to have a granddaughter in like any day now. I'm on call. My daughter is due next week. So it's really, really special for me to have not just my own daughter, but a granddaughter coming. So super exciting to be able to share with her all the stories I have of my own mom and my grandmother and just how far women have come. And so when we get frustrated, all I have to do is look back and see the lives of my grandparents and my grandparents actually both, emigrated to this country from Italy and Croatia. So just to see their lives and to see where we are now, it's like amazing. So anyway, hope you guys, if you're a mom, I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. I certainly did, even though my kids aren't home. I'm going to be going to New York soon to welcome my new granddaughter into the world. So I'll be spending time with my kids then. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day if you're a mom. And please share any stories you have about your mom. It's so awesome. I love hearing stories about our mom. So hope you have a wonderful Monday, and I'll talk to you real soon. Take care. Bye, everyone.